Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're digging into the ideological path of Nick Fuentes. We've got a stack of sources here, interviews, notes, personal accounts. Our goal isn't to endorse anything, obviously, but to really understand how someone goes from mainstream conservative ideas to where he is now. And, what that tells us about the bigger picture in politics today.
Yeah, and what's really fascinating, I think, is that it starts with pretty standard, off-the-shelf conservative ideas. This whole story seems to be about rejection, actually, being pushed out systematically by the conservative establishment itself. And that rejection basically forces him onto this very independent, very confrontational path. So we're looking at the mechanism here, who gets to stay in the club, who gets kicked out, and why.
Okay, let's start at the beginning then. We're talking 2015, 2016, his normie stage, as the notes call it. Grew up working class near Chicago, involved in, well, all the usual stuff back then, libertarianism, Ron Paul movement, Young Americans for Liberty.
Right, even PragerU. He was apparently in their Prager Force Facebook group, pushing their videos. A real grassroots kind of guy.
And definitely not a Trump guy initially.
No, not at all. The sources say he saw Trump as a statist, even a big government 1990s liberal. He was actually out door knocking for Ted Cruz in Illinois, called himself a cruise missile.
So what changed? The notes point to two big realizations during that election. The first one was about the media.
Exactly. He sees Trump winning, even though the media is, as he put it, furious. So his conclusion, past conservatives like Romney were just too weak, too apologetic.
And that winning meant you had to go around the media, maybe even destroy it. The media was the obstacle.
Right. That was realization number one, strategic. Then came number two, which was more ideological, rooted in demographics.
This is the Mark Levin point.
Yeah, he mentions hearing Levin on the radio ask something like, America's becoming majority non-white. Is that a good idea? That question just sort of planted a seed.
So demographics became the real political problem for him. He starts looking at electoral maps.
And sees states like Texas, California turning blue, supposedly because of immigration.
Yeah.
And his view was that immigrants just didn't support, the Constitution, free speech, Second Amendment, that kind of thing.
Okay, so that clarifies the 2016 mission in his mind. Get Trump elected to beat the media, then build the wall, deport the illegals.
And then you could get back to restoring the constitutional republic. That was the sequence.
And he takes this mindset, this Meg-Guy hat, straight to Boston University as an 18-year-old freshman.
Yeah, wearing the hat everywhere, apparently, dining hall, walking down the street. And the reaction was intense.
Hostility, verbal attacks, even death threats, right. Had to file a police report.
But at the same time, he wins this debate against the student body president using Ben Shapiro talking points, as he puts it.
And that debate gets noticed. Live streamed by a Daily Wire fellow, Cassie Dillon, gets tons of views.
Tens of thousands. And suddenly he's getting job offers. He's like the next young conservative star for a minute there.
For a minute is right, because things derailed almost immediately over what he calls the Israel question.
Right. This was post-inauguration. Trump's talking America first. And then there's this UN vote.
The Obama administration abstaining on condemning Israeli settlements. And Fuentes asks why just, sticking to consistent U.S. policy is suddenly anti-Semitic.
A fair question, maybe in a vacuum. But he takes it directly to Ben Shapiro on Twitter. Asks why the Daily Wire never criticizes Israel.
And Shapiro's response on Christmas Eve 2016.
Calls him an anti-Semite. Basically accuses him of the dual loyalty trope. Fuentes pushes back, tweets something like, if you're Israel first, maybe go live there. Shapiro calls him an anti-Semite again.
Okay, so this is where we see that mechanism you mentioned kick in.
Exactly. Think about it. He's 18. No network, no real power. But the response from the established conservative movement is immediate and designed to, crush him.
Because criticizing Israel within those circles was seen as a career ender, a death sentence.
It's pure gatekeeping. Shut it down before it gets popular. Don't debate it. Destroy the person asking the question.
And the destruction started quickly. He gets a show, America First, on RSBN, which was a big pro-Trump platform.
But then, according to the sources, this Cassie Dillon starts calling his boss every day, hysterically demanding he be fired.
Claiming he made racist or anti-Muslim comments?
Something like that. And then apparently Dillon takes a clip of Fuentes arguing the First Amendment doesn't protect radical foreign nationals.
And leaks it to Media Matters, the left-wing watchdog group.
Yeah, so he's getting attacked by the left, but the ammo is supposedly coming from inside the conservative movement.
Wow. So RSBN makes him apologize, then fires him anyway. Pretext was needing a White House press pass, but...
Yeah, Seems like a pretext. He drops out of BU right after, says the conservative movement is completely bankrupt.
That rejection seems like the real turning point.
Totally. Pushes him onto this independent path. He even tries for a normal job later, July 2017.
Yeah.
Applies at the Leadership Institute, the big training place for young conservatives.
Oh.
Gets immediately disqualified. Why? Because he said his main motivation was stopping mass immigration. Because America doesn't resemble America anymore. That was deemed too far right.
So, rejected by the university, rejected by the media side, rejected by the activist training side.
Yeah, the whole infrastructure basically shut him out. So what does he do? Starts his own show on YouTube from his parents' basement.
And the new mission.
Attack the establishment. Not just the left, but the conservative establishment itself. He sees them as the enemy because they're controlled or moderated. His standard is pure America first, no compromise.
And that refusal to compromise explains the conflicts even with potential allies like Joe Kent or MTG.
Right. He supports Kent in 2021, asks him just not to publicly disavow him. But Kent later does, condemns Fuentes over Israel and race, talks about inclusive populists.
Which is Fuentes saw as
GOP slop. Backsliding. So he attacks Kent. The goal, he says, is to impose a cost on anyone who disavows those core America First ideas, make them pay for wavering.
So the loyalty isn't to people, it's to the standard itself, consistency over alliance.
Seems that way. He does the same with MTG. She speaks at his conference, AFPAC 2022, then later disavows him, fires a staffer connected to him, and he attacks her too.
It's a rigid standard. Speaking of anti-establishment figures, there's that bizarre story in the notes about the Thanksgiving dinner with Trump and Kanye West.
Oh, right. The Yee dinner. Fuentes describes Yee being kind of shy at first, and Trump apparently liked it when Fuentes was being hardcore.
Trump urging him to stop supporting establishment types like McConnell or Ronna McDaniel.
Yeah, kind of reinforcing Trump's own anti-establishment streak right before that dinner blew up in the media.
But this escalation wasn't just talk. The sources show it led to real physical danger pretty quickly.
Absolutely. Shows how this stuff can spill over.
Okay.
After some controversial tweet on election night, his address, phone number, everything gets leaked online, doxed.
And people showed up.
Over 200 people, apparently.
Yeah.
Driving by, yelling, throwing eggs. He had to leave, stay in a hotel for a week.
But then it got much, much worse.
Yeah, truly terrifying. About a month later, December 2022, he's live streaming his show. And this guy shows up at his house, motorcycle helmet, armed with a pistol and a crossbow.
Just showed up at the house while he was live?
Yep. And this wasn't just some random crank. The guy was a triple murderer. Killed his roommate, sister, and mother over drug money or something. Drove straight to Fuentes' house after.
What happened?
He shot 2 of the neighbors' dogs, shot at the police when they arrived, and the police shot him dead. Right there.
That's unbelievable. Did they ever figure out why he targeted Fuentes? The motive?
Well, according to Fuentes in the source material, he never heard anything official from the police or the government about the motive, which leaves him into this broader analysis.
About the causes of this kind of violence. Not just political, but cultural.
Exactly. He speculates that these shooters often share certain traits. Nihilism, being socially isolated, loners, depression, maybe SSRIs involved.
And he thinks self-medication makes it worse.
Yeah, things like really potent marijuana, vaping constantly, alcohol, even psychedelics like LSD or MDMA. He suggests they can induce psychosis.
Plus being extremely online.
Right. Living life on Discord, gaming, maybe interacting more with AI like ChatGPT than real people. Creates this delusional state, totally disconnected from reality.
It's a bleak picture. And it connects to his wider critique of social breakdown, right? Starting with pornography.
Yeah, he sees porn as a massive reality distortion. It's everywhere, infinite variety, available from childhood now.
And the effect, in his view.
Serious sexual dysfunction.
Yeah.
ED, not being able to enjoy normal sex. Because, he argues, real women just can't compete with the intensity, the novelty, and the availability of online porn. It's constant hyperstimulation.
And that fuels other things, like OnlyFans.
He brings that up, calls it Patreon for nudes, sees it as women casually becoming amateur porn stars, which then messes up dating expectations even more.
Okay, so that's one pillar. The second is this crisis of marriage and authority.
Right. He points to this huge ideological gap. Young men getting more conservative, young women becoming extremely liberal, very feminist.
And he uses that term hoflation.
Yeah, it's a contraction, whole inflation. His term for what he sees as women having an inflated sense of their own sexual value, while also being, in his words, often overweight or promiscuous.
So what's the core problem there? according to him.
It's structural. Men are the responsible party, he says, but they have no authority.
And that's because of incentives.
Incentives in the legal system, social norms, technology, social media attention. He points to things like elective abortion, no-fault divorce, arguing they allow women to avoid accountability for their choices.
So his solution is a return to traditional roles.
Pretty much. Man has final authority. Wife is the helpmate, not just a best friend. He argues that giving up male authority just leads to no respect, there's unhappiness, and there's infidelity. It's a very stark traditionalist view.
Okay, so wrapping this up, where does he see all this tension heading? The sources get pretty serious here.
Yeah, they do. He highlights two things as signs of a really dangerous escalation. One was seeing large numbers of liberals apparently celebrating an assassination fantasy about Charlie Kirk, suggests a level of hatred that's maybe unbridgeable.
And the other, the ICE detention center standoff.
Right, in Broadview, Illinois. That one he sees as really critical. You had local leaders, the mayor, the governor, actively defying federal authority ICE and DHS.
And for Fuentes, that defiance is the recipe for
A low-boil civil conflict. He sees it as testing the boundaries, seeing how far they can push against federal supremacy.
So what's his proposed fix if he were in charge? It sounds pretty drastic.
It is. Crush it immediately. Arrest the mayor. Arrest the governor. Use force to make it absolutely clear instantly that resistance is futile. Remove any hope that defiance will work.
Because anything less just feeds the conflict.
That's his argument. Anything less just antagonizes and gives oxygen to what he sees as a coming civil conflict. It's about preventing it by showing overwhelming force up front.
So as we step back from all this, maybe the most striking thing isn't just the specific ideas Fuentes ended up with.
No, maybe not. It's also that powerful, almost immediate institutional reaction. The effort to silence and push out an 18-year-old college kid for asking questions the conservative establishment just didn't want asked.
Right. Which suggests to you, the listener, that maybe the way these institutions control debate, the mechanism of gatekeeping, is just as important in understanding modern politics as the actual ideas being debated. Something to think about.